Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our show, Worry Not. Today we are going to talk about depression, and we have our specialist on the show today that is going to educate us on what is depression, the causes of depression, the treatments of depression, and everything that is depression. We are going to learn today about the signs and symptoms and so many things about it. Today we have our specialist. I'll give him time to introduce himself and tell us more about it. Feel free, Brother Alan. Introduce yourself. Tell us more about this. Welcome, Brother Alan, once again on the show.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sister Mary. My name is Okoth Okwany. I'm a mental health and psychiatric, but I work as psychiatric nurse as my profession. So I'm very glad to have you in the show, and I'm very glad for your invitation.
Yes, thank you, Brother Alan. Just as Brother Alan has said, today we are going to learn more and educate ourselves more about everything about depression. So, my brother, can you kindly tell us what is depression? What do we understand by the term depression?
So, in a simple term, we say depression. In a simple definition, we say depression is a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest that a person can have. So clearly we can say that's a simple definition, but majorly we can say depression is a severe stressful situation.
Okay, and kindly elaborate for us, what is the depression and stress? How are they related? The relationship between stress and depression? Because some people confuse the two on stress. I'm stressed, I'm depressed. Some people they confuse the two.
So the relationship between depression and stress, majorly we can say the stress is what causes depression. So when the stress now becomes severe in your life, you feel lawlessness, and then you lose your interest. At that point, you say you will be depressed. You become down in life. So that's the depression. So the stressful situation in life, when it becomes severe, when it is persistence, it causes depression.
So stress ni mdogo wa depression.
Yes, so stress
is what leads to depression.
So stress is what causes that depression, the stressful situation. Yes.
Thank you, Brother Alan. I hope my viewers are understanding what is stress and what is depression. And from today, we are not going to confuse the two between depression and stress. Thank you. And what are some of the causes of this depression?
So majorly, when we talk about it medically, we said we have gene inheritance. We may have a family with that history of depression. That's blood inheritance. That one can make someone to have that depression, the gene inheritance. And then we have the biochemistry, the brain system. So we have the neurotransmitters. When they become the challenge due to drug addiction or maybe drug abuse, the mental status becomes distorted, and that the brain chemistry becomes very challenged, and that can make somebody to have depression. And then we also have the drug addiction, drug abuse. Drug abuse can also cause the depression. But as the situation per now, we can say the major cause of depression in life is the traumatic life event. The traumatic life event. In that, we can say the traumatic life event we can have is as death. When we say we lost the beloved one in your family, there's somebody who is the breadwinner. You have lost that person, the family, all the family become traumatized. And that one can cause stress. So, and the other one, we have the love relationship. Love the relationship can also cause stress because there are some people which may be having the devotion, others you can have somebody, the boy-girl relationship, somebody has leave the other one. You have spent a lot of your resources.
Yes.
And then the other one, you can also have loss of property. Loss of property, you have spent a lot of your resources to build even a rental house, and then you lost it all of a sudden. Maybe you have your car, you lost it all of a sudden. That one can take you to depression. And then the other one, you have financial challenges. Financial challenges come in by you don't have work. Children are going to school, your family also need to eat. You also need to take care of other family members. That one can cause you stress. So in short, we can say the major cause of challenges of depression today is the traumatic life event.
The traumatic life event, sorry. And what are some of the signs? What are the signs and symptoms of depression that if I see from someone, my loved one or somebody, I say, this person is like going through depression or is depressed?
When you talk about signs and symptoms, first of all, you say we have signs of somebody with a depression. This person feels lawlessness in life. Is somebody who is down, is ever sad. And the other bit of it, the person, there's change in the sleep pattern. The person may be sleeping a lot or is lacking sleep. And then there is change in appetite. So maybe eating too much or eating less. Maybe can be loss of appetite or high appetite. That person is having stress. Yes. And that in that situation we have that person is depressed. So it's making that to catch up with a stressful situation. Maybe eating a lot or lack of sleep, and then the person is much anxious. He's having anxiety. Anxiety. Feeling worthlessness. To say, let's say within a family, the person may say that I'm not wanted in this family. Feeling of worthlessness. So that person is depressed. So that's a sign of depression. Another one, that is frequent thinking of death, frequent thought of death. And this is where we have many cases of suicidal attempt. People who are committing suicide. And then when you have somebody thinking every now and then, is just thinking of dying, thinking of dying. That's a sign of depression. Yes, and then we also have feeling of tiredness. The person may be weak, lack of energy due to the stressful situation. And this comes as a result because when somebody is having a depression, the mental status becomes distorted. And once the mental status becomes distorted, because all the body functions are being coordinated by the brain. So when the brain becomes distorted, all the other body functions become weak. So we say this person feels much tired, lack of interest, and then weakness. Yes.
Yes, my viewers, hope you are learning or the signs you can see on your friend, your relative, or anybody around you, and you can be able to help this person, because you can even try to tell this person, oh, you know, I'm seeing this and this. You are able to help this person because of the signs and symptoms you have seen from him or her. And what are some of the prevention measures? Like, how can we prevent this depression?
Before we go into prevention measures,
yes,
in life there are some factors that are triggering the upcoming of the depression. The upcoming of the depression, factors that triggers. What is facilitating somebody into getting depression? One, we can have a person who is low self-esteem, a person with low self-esteem. Somebody is just thinking internally, is just thinking of himself, having their own self-decisions. That one can make somebody to be having depression. And that's a triggering factor. And then somebody who is too dependent. You are too dependent. You means you don't work for yourself. You depend on somebody. So once you lose this person, you become depressed because there is no way you'll be helping yourself. Yes. And then we also have we have diseases, the long term. The diseases require the long-term treatment, the opportunistic diseases. Somebody who is having these diseases which requires the lifelong term, this person becomes depressed. For example, you have somebody with HIV and AIDS. You require life treatment. So you become stressed, and then all of a sudden you be depressed. So those are the triggers factors that can make somebody to have a depression.
Exactly.
Yes. So when we talk about the treatment or the prevention measures, ideally, when we talk about depression, it surrounds about the two things. One, you have the medication part of it. You have the medication part of it, but the major treatment or the major prevention of the depression is what we call the psychotherapy, the counseling. So the person who is having depression, let's say, for example, that person has been showing the idea or the tendency of committing suicide. The person, when you subject this person into drugs, it won't help. It needs much of life education, and life education is given by the counselor. So the important treatment is counseling, guiding and counseling. Guiding and counseling, by the guiding and counseling involves the psychotherapy, and then we have the social support, the spiritual support. So in depression, when we say we want to prevent the depression, we involve the family member of the person, because the much of it is being treated socially, the social support of the person. Because the person is feeling of lawlessness, worthlessness within the family. So you bring this person to be part of you. That's when you can prevent the depression. Yes. You give the spiritual support, you give social support, economic support. It just needs the supportive measures that can help us to get out of the depression.
Yes, when this person is going through a stressful moment, we can help psychologically, socially, and even spiritually.
Yes, economically, spiritually, and socially. Those are the three major areas.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that. Hope we are following and we are understanding more on how we can help our friends, your neighbor, a person close to you, to not to enter into depression. Before he reaches there or she reaches there, you can help. And today we have been taught on how we can prevent that person from reaching depression stage. And what are some of the treatment options for this depression?
Yes.
How can we treat depression, the treatment option for depression?
Yes, I've said the treatment of depression, when we treat it in an hospital setup, we give medication. And the medication we have are called antidepressant. We give antidepressant medication. And the antidepressant medication is what is helping to stabilize the mood of the person. Is helping in the change of the mood of that person. So you can have some of the antidepressant working to induce sleep, so that the person can come out of that depression through, he can stop thinking of let's say somebody who has committed suicide. When you induce sleep, it becomes sleepy, and then the person stop thinking of the idea of that suicide. So we give antidepressant medication, and then when it has not become severe, when depression is not severe, we treat as an outpatient. So the person can go take the drugs and then come back. But when the depression is now severe, the person is now be inpatient in the hospital. And this is where we have some people being taken in a rehabilitation center. So that you can have it work as a correctional unit for the person. Learn the behavior changes, the life behavior change. Yes.
Thank you very much, brother. And I heard of electroconvulsive therapy. How is it done to treat the treatment used for this depression thing?
Yes.
I'm saying I've heard that there is a treatment called the electroconvulsive therapy. How is that therapy done?
The electroconvulsive therapy. The electroconvulsive therapy, it's work with the neurotransmitters within the body. Let's say we have it somehow sounds like electrical currents being applied within the body.
Wow.
So that it's being connected by the nerves and the neurotransmitters so that it can purify the blood system. Yeah, so it's some of the electrical currents being applied within the body. A person has been having using drugs. So that drug situation is entering into the blood system. So that electroconvulsive system is being applied to that drug so that the neurotransmitters can work well within the brain system or within the bodies, so that the transmission of the information does not become distorted within the body system.
Oh, thank you, Brother Alan. We have learned a lot. Like personally, me, I've learned a lot about this depression thing. I would like us to make another episode of it again so that you may learn deep about it, because depression is something that has affected so many lives, has taken so many lives. So as we are finishing, Brother Alan, is there anything that you would like to tell our viewers, like any situation that, have you ever had any situation that maybe you have thought of giving like dying or going into depression? Is there any circumstance in life?
There are many circumstances in life that I've passed through.
Can you please share with us?
And then before we go into that, let's just summarize. And then I say, while having depression, the best thing you need to do, you stick to the treatment. Well, if it is counseling, you stick to that counseling. If it is medication, you must have your medication. And then the second part of it, you learn about depression. What do we understand by the word depression? And what can I do to stop being depressed? And then the third thing, you take care of yourself. While taking care of yourself, you eat well, you sleep well, you relate with the people well. With that, you will overcome depression. So I've said I've faced some challenges that has made me to be depressed, but I'll just give one scenario in life. There's a time I joined college. I was not having school fees. I only managed to raise what I was going to start by the first year. But I paid this. Here comes, you don't go to class without paying. Like my situation in my campus, I was paying over 78,000. That's per year. So a year has got 2 semesters. You pay 39. And this one exclude the accommodation. So the accommodation, you stand by your own. How you are going to feed, you stand by your own. The school only need fee. So there's a time I was very much worried. And then I said, hey, God, where will I start? I need a total of 78,000. Accommodation 10,000. So a total of 89,000. Let's say that one subtracted to 90,000. And without this, you don't attend class. And in my situation in medical department, if you don't attend class, even for 1 week, you become demoted. And when you are being demoted, it's another 6 years. Another 6 months, let's say 6 months down to where you are. So I was having that challenge. I need 89,000. By bad luck, I was only able to raise 4,000. And this 4,000 include fee. This 4,000 include feeding, and this 4,000 includes accommodation.
Mm-hmm.
At this moment, I was stuck, and I don't know where to start from. So I became very much worried in life until I reached at a point of dropping. By that time, I could not talk to friends. I become lawlessness, worthlessness. So I look at my situation. I can't get money. I say, no, this one, I cannot continue living. It's better I die. So now it continues this way. It continues this way. A semester pass. So at that point, I could go to school, sneak, and join the class. So there's a point I found my name in the notice board. I'm most wanted, a criminal within the school.
Oh God.
So I'm going to school, I've not paid fee, but I sneak and learn. So that one was the worst part of it. You're wanted everywhere. Everyone is looking for you. Everyone is looking for you. And I say, no, not going now. Now I don't sneak anymore. I come back to my residential area. I was living with a friend. And then at this point, it forced me to share with a friend what I was passing through. So after sharing with a friend, he made me much aware that when you have a problem, you need to talk about it. You share the problem with somebody who is with you. So with that, we shared the problem, and then we ended up making a WhatsApp group.
Yes.
So this WhatsApp group made me to raise a total of that fee, a total of 78,000.
That is
at that point, I went back to school, started studying. I recovered the whole semester that I wasted. And after that, it was just through God's glory what made me to reach and finish my college.
You say God is good.
So at that point, I was at a position of just committing suicide. I said, no, I can't live. With all these challenges, I can't live. So let me just die. But a friend encourages me. So in short, I'm saying, when you have a problem or any challenge in life, you need to share it out. You air it out with somebody else so that the person can advise you on what to do. You may be experiencing a challenge that I've passed through. So after sharing, I can tell you that this one, I was having this and I managed to pass it through this way. So we need to share what we are passing through or what we are undergoing through. And this comes to our attention that we need to have friends in life that can give us social support. When you have friends in life, they can also give you the spiritual support. It's very important in life. And then we also have the economic support. With friends, you can have economic support and you can go far.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, and we thank God for coming, for helping you pass through that moment. We have learned that in every situation you are in, learn to share, because sharing is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of strength. And I want to encourage that one person or two people that are passing through what Alan passed through or are going through that difficult moment in life. I want to tell you that you are not alone in this. I may not understand exactly how you feel, but I care about you and want to help you. I want to remind you once again that asking for help is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength. You can also talk to us at Belinda Odhiambo Network. We will help you by directing you to where you can get help. Come on, you can do it.